a level 3 sex offender in 50 feet from his house. Never told the neighbors.
Really?
Been there since October 4th. You know what the sheriff said? Well, you got to go on the internet. I thought they're supposed to let people know when they move into the area.
Very good. Well, they have to register, right?
Register. This guy's a section 3. His violations have all been kids 11 and under. And he's violent.
Well, they've been very proactive in some of the other communities.
I caught him in the hedgerow down at my son's place today, on that hedgerow. I don't think he'd be in the hedgerow anymore.
Did you get your rifle out?
No, but I had an awful good talk with the guy. I couldn't believe it. The neighbors didn't even know it. Daycare center right across the street.
Jeez.
I said to Jarvis, don't tell me he's on your website. He's not. Yes, he is. I said, no, he's not. The girl called me. She's on the site. Boom, up it come. So he wasn't on there. He's over your hunting land there. So, you know, be sure you watch where you're shooting.
Well, one thing, if you don't like your boss, is the way of getting rid of him.
Yeah. If you need to call Dick Cheney, call him.
Railroad?
Yeah. You know where you turn to go on the greenhouse? Freddie's driveway goes in the back. He's right there.
Yeah.
Real bad character, too.
Yeah. Shot and killed. Thing I don't understand, he claimed he shot at 3 or 4 deer and missed them all, but he hit him.
Yeah, did you read that? I couldn't believe that.
Either.
I don't shoot that much in 10 years.
Glad I never hunted with any of my help.
Yeah.
Okay, James, these are yours.
We got everybody? We're on our way then.
Patty, we all set? Okay. Well, good afternoon. Welcome to the Bridge and Port Authority Facilities Committee meeting. Today's date, November 13th, 2007, 3:15 p.m.
Cameras on? Cameras on? Sorry, wait.
Not a problem. The first item up for the consideration of the Facilities Committee is an easement with St. Lawrence Gas. This basically strictly an easement to extend natural gas service to the 14th Industrial Building, now under construction over in the park. This easement allows St. Lawrence Gas to construct, operate, maintain, inspect, patrol, alter, locate, so on and so forth, a gas line to the building. And obviously, if it's acceptable to the committee, staff recommends putting this before the board for action this evening.
Do you need a motion for something like that at this facilities meeting? Or do you just come up with that?
Sometimes we do on formal stuff, and sometimes we just generally do consensus. It's really up to the
I think
pleasure of the
motion
committee.
if you need it.
Okay. Should we have a motion on it, or
Whatever the part matters. I mean, I think the consensus, yes.
we need it?
Roger, you make it, I second it. I guess we're good, huh?
Okay. So we'll get this before the board for this evening. Okay. Second item up for your consideration is, actually I forgot to mention the grant easement specifics are attached there as well in the packet, along with map. The second item is the City of Ogdensburg, payment to the City of Ogdensburg for transfer utilities. This is for the infamous water line over in the industrial park, the one that had some issues with it, that had a Senator Wright grant associated with it for $50,000. The original memorandum of agreement said that anything over $50,000 would be the expense of OBPA. The bill came in at $54,826.52, which leaves $48,2652 for OBPA. There's a remaining balance on that. And what I'm looking for here is just a general discussion, or if you have any questions on this point. If not, if it's agreeable, we can put it before the board for vote this evening.
I have a question, Wade. I just looked at this morning. Did we contact the city and review these invoices at all? Because I know I haven't.
I thought you'd received the packet. That's all. I apologize.
Yeah, I received the packet and I've looked at the invoices, but I haven't talked to anybody at the city about them.
You haven't talked to Phil?
No?
Okay. Then I think we should withdraw this and hold it for next time. I apologize for the invoice on this. So that makes sense. Item simple. We'll table that one for
In
next
other
time.
words, you don't know whether Ogdensburg agrees with this or not then.
Well, it's from the city. The invoices are from the city. They've agreed to it and they're billing us for this. But I guess there's a couple in here that aren't straightforward to me.
Okay.
Specifically, repairing the fence. I guess I'm not too sure what that's. It's all $3,400.
So, Mark, you'll review the invoice. We'll bring this up next time. Again, under the memorandum agreement, anything over $50,000 is OBPA expense.
Whose fence is our fence?
No, we don't know.
What the fence is they're talking about. There's a fence within 1,100 feet of water line.
What are they talking about, Steve? Do you and Bill know?
I'm like Mark. I don't know what any fence was involved in any of that. So that was the question, Eric.
Temporary fencing?
No,
For security reasons?
nothing. That would have been all L&M. You know, but it said Butler
And
fence.
I do, because the only thing I have is just the invoice from the city. The questioning the fence, I don't.
Yeah, I got all the
see fence. Got some backup.
all the backup from the contractor and everything.
No fences.
Right.
Old Doug.
Pretty crazy.
Very good. I apologize for wasting your time on that issue. Let's move on. Table that and get that back before you next time. One of the topics of conversation last time was in the industrial park was paving. We talked about the paving in the industrial park. You'll recall OBPA was to pay for basically the labor and the trucking, and the materials were to be picked up by the correctional facility. Correctional facility backed out of that, and as a result, we have held on the paving repair. We are waiting to talk with DOT to see what other options are available, perhaps an entrance redesign or something along those lines. And at this point, we'll probably be looking at paving in the spring due to weather considerations anyway. But I wanted to give you an update on that.
Now this is around the new building? Or no?
No, this is the,
Back up. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yes, the.
Are they complaining now that it didn't get paved, or?
No.
They had a reason for backing out, or?
Their overall reason was two reasons. Twofold, they didn't like the cost, and number two is the next tire up not approved in that direction. Even though that's what they had agreed to.
So what do you think is going to happen in the spring? Are they going to pitch in, or do you think it's going to be our nickel?
My feel it's going to be probably our nickel.
I think the small repairs we'll take care of, and then we're just going to have to look at what Wade said if we can get some help there. But that first 500-600 feet needs something to be addressed. It's something we have to address one way or another. But I think the small repairs we can do, and I think that'll take care of some of their woes. But the other one, I think something we're going to have to address.
That one's going to be a project for another day.
Is that where your trucks are turning and tear the road up? Or they're going around the corner?
Yeah, but it's just between ACO and all the usage. It's been, like, how many years? 15 or 17 years. It really took time.
Third item up for your consideration. I'll pass these around. I apologize. I only have one copy, but it will give you an idea. CNS's thoughts on the engine house update. Specifically, there are two options that CNS has come up with. I do not have information on cost at this point from CNS.
but the initial drawings show the blue building being, there's two of them. There's one that shows and I apologize, I'm going to show it on the screen here, but the blue building tracks going into the blue building, and the existing rail dock right here, so basically there'd be two spurs into the industrial park, is option one. Option two that CNS presented, option two is using the existing rail spur and putting a new building basically right over top of and around that existing rail dock that's over there in the park. So I'll pass those around so you can take a look at it. And again, I apologize to the projectors and workers this evening. So for next month, we will have some cost estimates in, as well as the schematics, so we'll be able to update you with that as well. That's it for items under the industrial park. On the bridge, there is one consultant agreement that needs to be discussed tonight, and specifically, Steve, do you want to start walking us through that, please?
Yeah, this is a result of probably 3 or 4 meetings between Green Peterson and the state of New York, DOT, and ourselves, but we're trying to work out a consultant agreement with Green Peterson. And like I said, we met 3 or 4 times. Jim, you were in on the first part of that. Was that the revision one, or was that the...
That was the draft one.
The draft one. Well, we had, the second one was a revision, and the third one was just everybody getting together and just coming to term. Well, the numbers were already out in the first one, but coming to terms on that. And the only issue, I think, that when the revision was taking out some of the bridge inspection on that, and then there was a couple small, on the final one, they were really more, Mark, I think they were more legal things.
It's an environmental issue that's not really part of the contract.
Right. But if you see before you, you've got the consultant agreement, and in that agreement you'll see in Article 1, it's got all of the attachments. And this agreement form was what the state gave us to work off of. And so we tailored that, both of us, between Green Peterson and the OBPA, we tailored that to meet this project. And then attachment, you'll see there's attachment A, that's the project description. There's the engineering base scope of services, that's the numbers Green Peterson gave to us. And attachment C is the salary schedule. And those two, B and C, kind of match together. And Jim, you're familiar with that. It's wordy and complicated, but we went over every bit of that. I don't know, Mark, the state of New York, the DOT was on board, and although they officially didn't approve it because it's between us and Green Peterson, they had no issues.
Nope. They accepted the price within the base scope of the work, within their acceptable ranges, the $2.379 million based on the scope presented.
Which did not include construction inspection.
Yes, it does.
It does.
That includes everything, yes. We wanted, Jim, I think I mentioned we wanted to keep that all. We were just hoping internally they'd keep that separate, the design and inspection, but I didn't go out for 2 different firms.
I agree that.
This one, given both the amount and the complexity, would probably be appropriate to have both a motion and a second on this one before we take this one forward.
Negotiating on some $76,000.
Yeah, I can believe Roger without talking about that one of those was,
The maximum to be in $379,000.
the 176, that's for a different phase, or different phases, Roger.
Okay. Which phase are we on now?
Well, one's for design and the other one is for construction inspection. This includes both.
Steve, has our attorney looked any of this over?
Yeah. Frank.
Comfortable with it?
Yep, we had a couple issues that had to do with terms of payment, and what was the other one, Mark?
Liability limits for insurance. Talk about that.
Yeah, Fred, we went kind of back and forth over it 3 times, and it was lengthy, and
Are you comfortable with it?
I am, because...
You recommending it?
Yeah, because of the time spent. But the thing is that it's so big, I realize that people need to kind of look it over, and...
It's had its due diligence from our council, as mentioned. It has been back and forth several times for you.
Is there any areas you want to point out, Steve, that you're not comfortable with? You got some concerns with it? Anywhere?
No, I think we brought those up. Some of those were like there's a draft design that has to go out in the time frame of everything, and we kind of went back and forth. And basically, we were hoping the DOT would be on board with the speed. The longer we took, we would take away from some of the money we could spend later on, just with rising costs. So Raymond Peterson had a pretty good schedule. Just our main concern was that the DOT would keep up with us, and so far they've been pretty good with all of that.
So you're happy that the committee can move this to the full board?
I would be, yes. But it's a large number, Fred, so that's, I just...
Well, that's why it's got to go to the full board.
Right. But
So what's ready?
yes.
This is really a not to exceed then, right?
Yes, it is. We may not, yeah. That's the bottom line, but it could come out at $2 million, it could come 2.2, but that's the top number that...
There's an awful difference there. It's got a span.
What's that?
It's got a span. They could come to 2.2.
Right. I would expect you're gonna come. You know how that works, Jim. I expect
Yeah, we usually end up going over.
Right.
But as long as it's not to exceed. If you look at the design fees aren't bad. It's all into the inspection portion.
Yeah, and that'll be dictated by how the projects run. With if you get a good contractor in there and they can hit a lot of those, it could if it shortens a project, that'll shorten the construction inspection. But I'm going worst case, I guess. And it goes out to if you look at that schedule, it's out to I think we said 2008. Yeah, but it lasts, Roger, till 2010. Their portion of it.
How do we get compensated? Will we be compensated before, or we'll pay?
Yeah,
we'll pay an invoice
and then
have proof of payment, and then DOT will reimburse us.
What's the typical turnaround time for DOT to?
I was thinking maybe 14 to 16 days if we do it electronically.
So you're not talking about putting your money out there for?
Not for too long, no. We may need a line of credit, not for this part of the contract, $15 million construction contract. There may be a short-term line needed there.
Now, will you be setting up a separate account for the electronic checking and movement?
Not a separate account, no.
Are you going to monitor it?
Just like everything else, we'll have our files and monitor the money going out, coming in. There won't be a separate physical bank account, though, if that's necessary.
Well, no, DOT will do an electronic transfer.
Right, into our existing account.
They worry me.
They're coming in and going out.
Payments?
We got everything separate, so I don't have to worry about it. I tell them there's X amount of money, they wouldn't take it.
No, that's
That's our option, but cut down the time by 1 week, so that'll be something.
So you're going to monitor it, good.
Well, no, we're not doing electronic transfers out, just electronic transfers in.
Yes, yeah.
The government's much quicker when you do that, I'll tell you. It's got 30 days off payment schedule is usually electronic. And I didn't see in here who's executing. Is Wade going to execute on OBPA's behalf? I didn't see.
I'm not sure whether Mark, I think Wade or Mark.
Yes.
I didn't see a signature page.
There it is, Mark, Marshall.
Yeah, I'd be authorized to execute the contract.
Okay. I mean, I think you selected the right firm here. You're going to do a great job. And you got to have design and inspection before you get bridge constructed.
Fred, did anything jump out at you looking through it?
A couple areas, but there was just, that's why I asked you, the attorney looked it over, and he's
I'd
comfortable.
be glad to answer anything.
I didn't see anything, just a couple areas, some movement there.
Yeah.
They are working on this now, though, right?
Yeah, they're working on their own dime right now because of the weather, just to get a jump on the preliminary design.
Oh, I read it all when I got to the end of this.
Yes, but I'm glad to sit down with anybody and get hold of
I'll make the motion.
Jim, on that resolution you just read there, under the report, the middle paragraph, that last sentence, I just want to, and I'll note tonight at the board meeting, that last sentence says, this agreement has been reviewed and approved by. I want to change that word approved by to accepted by.
That's fine.
The DOT doesn't really sign off on it anymore.
Where was this you're reading from the
They're on the resolution.
resolution there?
Right.
Yeah.
I talked to Nancy Catalina on the phone about that. She's happy with the word accepted.
Okay, accepted. Fine.
I'll second it then if you're.
Okay. We'll have that before the full board this evening. Thank you. That's it for the bridge. Moving attention to the marine terminal, we've got the North Country Freight Needs Study. This is the comprehensive plan for all authority assets tied in with the North Country Freight Needs Study. In a nutshell, what this is, this was based on the evaluation of the selection criteria. We recommend Wilbur Smith Associates at a cost of $248,105. This was done in consultation with staff, New York State DOT, and anything else I'm missing in there?
No.
That's kind of it in a nutshell.
This only begs the question, did these folks know going in with what we had to spend?
Oh, yeah. And we didn't pick them because they were low.
And I know I missed the meeting, but my choice was actually Cambridge. What was so compelling that you guys liked Wilbur Smith? I thought Shaw's was not that well rated.
So Wilbur Smith had more experience with ports, and they had done the port master plan for Port of Albany, and they had also done some.
But that was really your main reason. Okay.
Yeah.
And it was very close between the two.
Majority rules, that's fine.
And we have a very good agreement ready for Wade to sign, and about a 25-page scope of services that basically came out of their proposal that we evaluated. Went over, made a few minor modifications too, so this is good and ready to go, and it's conditioned upon final approval from the funding source of the state of New York, which is probably going to be about 10 weeks. And we'll be working with them in the hopes that they'll be able to start before that, actually. they have left come for a start. That
So then do we want to hold this resolution until we get that approval?
no, because it's the resolution says it's conditioned upon final.
It's kind of the other way around. We need to have the approval from OBPA first, and then that will cue DOT to start the process at Corporate Controller's Office.
Yeah.
What about difference in anyhow?
Absolutely. So again, on this one, probably given the order of magnitude, probably makes sense for a motion and a second on this one to move to the full board.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, I'm okay without second.
I guess one thing we should clarify, if we are doing a motion in a second, just for the record, based on the fact there's potentially 3 voting board members in the room, I'm just assuming that it goes through.
Yeah, I'm not voting.
Okay.
Just the committee. I'm just
All right.
here to. We can't. They're moving it to the full board. That's.
Next item up is the Ogdensburg International Airport 4A. This is a grant with New York State Department of Transportation. If you recall, the 5-year capital plan for Ogdensburg includes the airfield electric building and the beacon project, and the obstruction removal on airport projects. Basically, the funding on these was 95, 2.5 between FAA, New York State DOT, and Ogdensburg Bridge and Port Authority. What this does, it basically proves the airfield electric and airport beacon project and obstruction removal on airports project. It's not easy to say along those lines. You can see some additional information in the report section as well.
And this has to be put out to bid, I take it.
We already did
It's already been bid.
obstruction
Yes.
removal.
Okay.
The purpose of this is strictly the, it is kind of complex, but we basically go through and we approve each section of the grant. So in other words, we approve the FAA section, then we'll approve the DOT section, and Bridge and Port Authority section. This is strictly the DOT portion of that grant. So for the one project, it's $94.50, and the second project is $58.75. So if there's consensus there, we'll bring that one to the board. Next item up
We
is
included, sorry,
Oh, sorry,
yeah,
go
we
ahead.
included all the bids that came in for those projects at the last meeting, right? Like I remember seeing those
Yes.
in there. Yeah. They're part of the record already.
That's right. Okay. We're having a pre-con for the obstruction removal this Thursday, and the beacons, that relocation is probably going to start in early spring.
You might want to just bring those meetings tonight so I can ask you questions on.
Okay.
I don't remember who that was, but yeah, make sure you get the obstruction removal.
That's probably a good idea.
And I don't remember who that beacon, to tell you the truth.
We got the beacon.
Yeah.
Collins Hammond.
Collins Hammond, yeah.
The other item for consideration is the Ogdensburg International Airport. I bring to you for consideration. Again, no actions required. I want to update you on a fact that we learned while dealing with automated fueling at the airport. Our automated fueling system at the airport, and again, I apologize, the projector isn't working. We'll see if we can't get that fixed for the board meeting. This is our gas buoy system here at the airport. So you can see exactly what it looks like. This thing is basically an automated card reader / fueler. We have found out through the course of events that this system is no longer supported as of January 8th or something, some oddball number like that. Yeah, early January anyway. This answer in a nutshell here is probably going to cost about $15,000 to fix in the grand scheme of things, and it has potential to, its replacement has the potential to use both tanks, where the one right now just uses one. So there will be something brought before you, I would assume, December timeframe, where we talk about this and have some more specifics. But we just learned that, and I wanted to share that with you, that there's a future cost associated with that.
It'd take a long time to pay that back on the fuel cell.
Well, you start flying more.
Absolutely.
So do we have a contract right now with somebody that provides services for credit card machine or dials it?
Yes, we do. Ascent Aviation.
Phillips 66.
Okay.
Yep, through Ascent. It's the current system. It's about 6.5, 7 years old. And now the decoder or the coder somewhere over there is not going to be read as of the beginning of 2008.
When we purchase equipment, we don't just lease it, or they don't send a service that they provide contract?
Well, we've got the option here to purchase fuel from them for 3 years at market value, and they'll supply the equipment.
There's a couple different options out there, and we need to evaluate those and get them before the committee for next month. But again, that's something that we just learned about that was appropriate to bring to your attention. And it's also same issue, the gas buoy. And I'll get these, somehow we'll get that projector fixed for the board meeting. But what you see here is the gas buoy's hose, if you will. During a particularly busy time at the airport, what happened here is we lost some significant fuel sales due to the fact that one airplane was parked in front of the gas buoy for the weekend. And as a result, what you can see in this picture is you see a 70-foot hose and a plane that has about, plane plus spacing has about a 75-foot wingspan.
Yeah.
Problem is, this is a particularly disheartening picture because this plane right here that you can see in the picture, I'll get it up on the screen, but while I was out at the airport taking these pictures, that individual was flying to Messina to pick up about $2,500 of fuel.
So it begs the question is how the guy parked there. Why did he park there? Don't we have any direction on?
This was a large plane that was parked there in its own right. We are somewhat constrained on layout issues, lack of pavement, if you will, between where the old hangar is and where the new T hangars are. Part of this issue that we'll have to address at the facilities committee at some point is putting down some additional pavement. But this is a picture of the airport kind of at peak capacity, what it looked like and what happened. You know, how we did not get those fuel sales.
When did that happen? Recently?
That was very recently. It was alumni weekends at the university. So we'll be talking about the gas buoy in the future for a couple of reasons. First and foremost, it's obsolescence, and secondly, because of the capacity issues we're talking about. The additional item here that didn't really have a category, so we decided to put it on there is affordable presentation. Affordable presentation folks have requested a letter or a motion of support, if you will, from the Ogdensburg Bridge and Port Authority. I wanted to bring this before the Facilities Committee. I couldn't see any reason why to be opposed to this conceptually, but wanted to bring that to your attention, that this is something that we'll be putting before the board this evening if the committee is in agreement. Absolutely.
Cost us. Project, $4 project.
Item 6 is just miscellaneous hodgepodge of items and is not on the agenda. That includes our regular facilities committee agenda. Apologize for that oversight on our part. We'll make sure that does not happen in the future. That's all I had, unless there are any general questions or should be in there. Along those lines.